activities from Nigeria's National Assembly. I am Ada Oka. Thank you for joining us. We begin at the Red Chamber. The Nigerian Senate has taken a major step towards setting up a central agency to manage and dispose of assets seized from suspected criminal activities. The bill, sponsored by Senator ADBN, seeks to amend the Proceeds of Crime Act 2022 and create a single body to oversee recovered assets. Declaring the public hearing open, Senate Chief Whip Senator Tahir Monguno, who represented the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, said the 10th Senate is focused on boosting transparency and accountability in how forfeited assets are handled.
Yes, as we strengthen our asset recovery mechanism, we must guard carefully against excess. The fight against corruption must never become unfettered from justice and due process. Due process is the backbone of justice. Efficiency must work hand in hand with accountability. Recovery must be firm, but it must also be lawful, transparent, and constitutionally anchored. In our determination to defraud criminals of illicit gains, we must never defraud citizens of their rights. We should not, in the quest for enforcing these laws, jettison the fundamental human rights of our citizens. We must follow due process in the course of carrying out our statutory mandates. This, I think, message is for our anti-graft agencies to follow strict procedure and lay down rules and regulations in order to arrive at a decision not to proceed on media trial for a person to be convicted even before appearing before a judge. That is very, very important.
He noted that the amendment is designed to close existing loopholes and align Nigeria's asset recovery process with global best practices. Speaking at the hearing, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, explained that the current law allows multiple agencies to manage seized assets independently, a system he described as inefficient and poorly coordinated. According to him, a centralized structure would improve transfer, monitoring, and overall management of recovered assets. Also weighing in, Lagos State Attorney General Lawal Pedro called for clearer guidelines on the role of the Nigerian police force in enforcement. He suggested creating a specialized police unit to handle enforcement under the supervision of the state judiciary. The public hearing reports will now be submitted by Senate Committee Chairman on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Ayo Adegbomire, for further legislative review.
Recall that the Proceeds of Crime Act 2022 introduced a multi-agency directorate model requiring each relevant organization listed under Section 82 of the Act to establish its own Proceeds of Crime Management Directorate. I wish to observe that this decentralized model has proven inadequate for effective, transparent, and accountable asset management. I note that it tends to concentrate the powers of investigation, prosecution, and management of recovered assets into a single agency without taking into cognizance the needs for professionalism, checks and balances in the transparent management of recovered assets in line with the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, and international best practices.
It shall be duty of every police officer to assist in the execution of judgment or order of the court. I am proposing that you have subsection 2, which is for this purpose above, the Nigerian police may establish for the judiciary of a state or federal capital territory a police unit to be under the control of an officer of no less than rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police, who shall be subject to the directives of the head of the judiciary in the state.
Now to the House of Representatives. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, has rejected the proposed Human Rights Defenders Protection Bill, stating that Nigeria already has adequate laws to protect rights defenders. Represented by the Chief of State Counsel, Reuben Imaha, the Attorney General made the position known at a public hearing organized by the House Committee on Human Rights. The bill seeks to provide legal protection for journalists, lawyers, civil society actors, whistleblowers, and citizens advocating constitutional rights. The ministry warned that creating a new law could lead to institutional overlap, urging lawmakers to strengthen enforcement of existing human rights laws instead. Civil society groups and the Nigerian Bar Association, however, backed the bill, describing it as critical to strengthening accountability and human rights protection.
We should now proceed to the technical section of this public hearing convened by the Committee on Human Rights of the House of Representatives. This segment is strictly for clause-by-clause and evidence-based examination of the Human Rights Defenders Bill, and the bill is to repeal and reenact the Act establishing the National Human Rights Commission.
In its current form, the bill risks legislative redundancy, institutional overlap, and regulatory confusion without delivering substantive improvement in human rights protection. In conclusion, as to HB 1867, that's a Human Rights Defenders Protection Bill, this ministry does not support the bill for the reasons that we stated above. So we think this is our view, that the real gap does not lie in legislative absence, but in enforcement effectiveness. So this ministry recommends that rather than enacting duplicative legislation, the National Assembly should prioritize strengthening institutional capacity, accountability mechanism, and implementation of existing laws.
So this bill, as couched by the House of Rep, defends you while you defend the rights of others and your own rights. So this bill is out to protect all of us, and it's quite inclusive, and we commend the House for that.
The Human Rights Defenders Protection Bill represents a bold and progressive legislative initiative aimed at strengthening civic space and reinforcing Nigerians' human rights obligations. However, institutional feasibility, constitutional calibration, criminal law precision, and fiscal clarity must be addressed.
There's the issue of the Human Rights Fund, which was provided for in the 2010 amendment of the NHRC Act. The process of funding that fund has not been clearly delimited, and that is why it has not been activated. So it is very important that this particular amendment now will be able to prescribe a process through which that fund has to be resourced.
Like we said, there are two acts that are running concurrently, and there is need.
On a separate bill to amend the Act establishing the National Human Rights Commission, the Attorney General expressed support but raised concerns over provisions requiring companies to contribute 0.3% of annual profits to fund human rights cases. The Commission's Executive Secretary, Tony Ojukwu, defended the proposal. The ministry also warned that requiring businesses to obtain annual human rights compliance certificates could negatively affect ease of doing businesses. House of Representatives Committee on Finance has faulted the presentation by Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC during its resumed session on revenue sources. Lawmakers said the agency failed to provide key supporting documents and submitted incomplete records required for proper scrutiny. Chairman of the committee, Honorable James Faleke, directed the agency to return within 1 week with all relevant and comprehensive documentation. The Managing Director of NBET, Johnson Akinmawo, addressed the committee during the session.
These 2 or 3 agencies have written letters asking for 2 weeks extension. The committee do not have those 2 weeks left. We hereby direct them to appear before us unfailingly by next week. Wednesday next week, unfailingly. NNPC, NUPRC, and midstream. What we are asking for is data of revenue generated 2023, 2024, 2025. Ordinarily, if the system is organized, they should have it ready-made in their system. Those are closed years. They must then bring those documents and appear before us unfailingly by Wednesday next week.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, the Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO, NBET earns a share to cover its recurrent expenditure, while the capital is provided under appropriation, which we present both at our yearly budget proposal presentation to the House. Before you is a submission that we have provided. NBET, Mr. Chairman, is ipso facto not a revenue-generating entity, but an entity provided funding for its operation from the market administrative charge that is earned as a portion of the tariff, electricity tariff. That is a regulatory income that is provided to government entities that provide a service in the electricity market to run their operations. And those entities include the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to cover wheeling charges, and the Nigerian Independent System Operator and NBET. These entities earn a portion of the tariff that is paid by the distribution company to cover their recurrent expenditure, and some also capital expenditure.
What is the meaning of earning? Is it an inflow or an?
You earn revenue, it's an inflow designated to cover the operations.
You earn.
As part of the multi-year tariff order, MITO, that is issued by the regulator, the distribution companies get 2 invoices every month. One is from NBET for energy and capacity charge. That money on receipt by NBET is used to pay GENCO 100%, no margin. So we trade at no margin. Again, by the design of the market, the discos also get another invoice from NISO, that is the Nigerian Independent System Operator. That invoice is provided to cover the cost of running those government entities that provide a service to the market. And those entities include NERC, TCN, NISO, and NBET. So that, for NBET, that covers our recurrent expenditure.
Of the revenue you generated is another thing entirely. But you generate revenue to solve part of your functions. So don't come here and tell us that you are not a revenue generating agency. You are. No matter how meager your revenue is, you generate revenue. Then whatever revenue you generated, you cannot spend on your own until it is appropriated by the National Assembly. And you also said that you raised 2 invoices, okay? Which the disco companies, they pay, I mean, you use it to offset or something. That is also an income. You are entitled to show us those income and how you use it. Period.
Members of the committee, including Honorable Stanley Adedeji, also raised concerns over gaps identified in the agency's submission.
On 2 occasions, you've interrupted the chairman. Please, stop that. Number 2, Mr. Chairman, I would like to raise a motion that we step them down for 2 reasons. Number 1, this submission is not legible. And number 2, we have about 70-something members, over 100 members of this committee, and for us to receive only 5 submissions, I think it's just inadequate. And I would like for you to please allow that we step embed down for today. The whole discussion around you are a revenue generator, regardless of how you try to sugarcoat it. We know exactly what we do here. So, but Mr. Chairman, I would like to raise a motion that we step them down and give them another day for appearance with the right number of submission and legible submission for that matter.
While we will agree with your motion, I will allow members to talk, but I need us to educate him. Yeah. Okay? I need us to appear before us. Before you, I mean, he's a civil servant who took over the past 2 years now as acting, all right? And so it is not good for him to go out of here with that notion he's carrying. He needs to be properly guided. Yeah, please step down the motion. Let members contribute and educate him. Please.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to step down the motion that we step it down for now, and then we can move it immediately after all members have made their contribution pertaining to that. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
And the right under the power of operation of this house. Organize those agencies you are collecting income from. If they are not authorized, you will not be able to earn income from them. It's a percentage which you are needed to establish as what you use as running costs. So if the power to do that is derived not by yourself, not by your own authority, but by the authority of this house, you are therefore accountable to money received on behalf of government.
If I send it now,
then you are on your own. You cannot be on your own.
Telephone to print and bring now.
You must be educated that don't appear before this house
to print and bring now.
and mention that budget. Every money earned by any organization must be accounted for. And that's what this committee is all about. So please use that notion. Thank you.
Self-funding.
Budget.
Self-funding.
Or you are self-funding.
Off your mic.
Because my initial comments seem to have been misinterpreted.
Are you self-funded or no?
We have funded our operations from regulatory income from the market, like the 3 other entities that I said in government. Then we are funded for capital from our corporation. But like I said earlier, we are partly funded. But to say,
now, that you are not a revenue generating agency, you want to plead that maybe part of your fund are going to consolidate revenue fund. However, when you started this statement, you made it clear you are not a revenue generating agency, which means in your own operation, there are some revenue that is not clear to us. That is your own position.
Okay, let me.
The earnings we earn from the market is supposed to cover our operations. After we have presented proposals to you, when we're presenting our capital, we present our recurrent, and you've cleared it. It's supposed to cover our operations, but they continue to deduct from us. And evidences are there in our submission. Until 2025, when the finance minister gave the what do you call it, approval, riding on his powers from the Fiscal Responsibility Act to exempt agencies. That was finally achieved in December 2025. But previously, prior to that, we have fully compliant with the deductions, and we have the submission, including treasury receipt in our pack that we're
Okay, thank you. The deductions you are talking about is made from what? From what revenue? From what income? From your income or from operation allocation?
From our income.
So why did you not say you are not revenue?
That was the position we kept telling the treasury, that the regulators, yes.
Have the mission, whatever slang you use, that you are not revenue.
Yes.
That's what you said.
So what the treasury does.
So where is the treasury getting funds to deduct? Yeah.
Good. So they arbitrarily deduct even Genco's money.
It's a policy of government, and you are smart.
Genco money is private sector money.
Private sector?
If Disco pays us for the energy of taking, we are supposed to apply that money to pay Gencos. So, and some of those times we provide treasury clarification that this is Genco money, and they return it, and then we pay the Genco.
And yet you are compliant.
From I said the deductions have been both from our own share and from Genco, the share of the regulatory income.
Your personal money.
The regulatory income.
Is it your personal money?
Mr. Chairman,
is it your personal money?
Mr. Chairman, it can't be my personal money.
I'm asking you a question. Is it your personal money or the share you are referring to always?
Do you agree you generate revenue? Do you agree you generate revenue? Every income generated by any agency is regulated. Every income is generated by law, is by law. So don't use the English to say regulatory income. Don't use it. Every income by NNPC, by FR is regulated. It is by law. Isn't it?
So from that, operating surplus can be deducted consistently over the year.
Our argument is not whether you pay operation surplus or not. That's not the argument. The argument is, which based on your submission, that you are not revenue generated. So we should not be inviting you here. That's the meaning. No, that's the meaning. I'm trying to finish your statement for you. It is implied. Honorable Munachi, please.
So how you and every time you are talking to a chairman, you are making us to understand you are money, which money? Is this a company? No, I don't like it. Let me tell you. The chairman is standing you down here. If not, please, chairman, I want my people to continue that motion so that you go and complete this thing and know that it's coming to face
Check. Before I even go ahead, fiscal responsibility. Are you here? Fiscal responsibility. Can you respond to the fact that you exempted them from what? From operating surplus? And then, on what basis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have not excluded them. They were added to our board. Engage them, but unfortunately, up to now, we could not make
full grounds on that because they have not yet even submitted their audited accounts for 2021, 2022, and 2023. Audited financial accounts.
Even the menu.
Are you aware of the documents?
Eh?
Okay. Can you open to Okay, please read the document itself to our members. Excuse me, can you cover him, please?
On the incorporation of the Embed Finance Company PLC.
Embed Finance Company to what?
Pursuant to the presidential, the President and the Federal Executive Council approval for Embed to approach the capital market to raise 4 trillion to settle debts, legacy debt owed to generation companies. The Presidential Debt Reduction Committee, chaired by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Embed was designated as the sponsor.
Okay.
Who
is the owner of Embed?
Embed's ownership is comprised of the Bureau of Public Enterprise and the Ministry of Finance Incorporated.
Who is the shareholder of this registration? Who are those shareholders?
In furtherance of who are the shareholders here?
The names of the shareholders.
Shareholder number 1, Wanchuku Chidebere Batran. And the Chidebere Batran.
Is that the BPE director?
Shareholder 2.
Hello, is that the BPE director? Is that the BPE director?
Mr. Chairman,
no,
in responding to you, my response must be complete and must not be misleading.
No, hold on.
So, and there's a background to the...
I want to know the identity of Chidebere. Who is he? Tell Nigeria, who is Chidebere? Who is he?
The incorporation of this, I don't know him from Adam.
You don't know him?
The incorporation is structured in line with the approval of the Presidential Debt Reduction Committee for the company to be an orphan SPV so that it can be bankruptcy remote. This is the structure we were advised to incorporate to be bankruptcy remote, because this is why, Mr. Chairman, you asked us to provide a detailed response, which we have provided your office.
And I'm asking you to tell Nigerians that how you can register a company owned and funded by government, and now we register a PLC on behalf of that company using private name as shareholders. That is the brunt when there is a crisis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In the wisdom of the Presidential Debt Reduction Committee,
Presidential what?
Debt Reduction Committee.
Is that committee superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
In the wisdom of the...
You have not answered me now. Is it superior to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Mr. Chairman, we are public officers. We are...
Is there any rule particular in terms of registering individuals as shareholders for this company? Is there any rule writing it?
directive that we received.
Do you have any law? You're supposed to be guided, whatever it is that you're doing as far as your mandate is concerned, you're supposed to be guided by laws. Do you have any law to back what you did? That's the simple question that the chairman is asking.
Law to back what we did.
Yeah, in terms of registering a public company with individuals as shareholders.
This was the design that the Ministry of Finance provided.
Ministry of Finance and our laws, you need to understand these things. Are you supposed to be guided by Ministry of Finance or the laws of the land?
The Presidential Debt Reduction Committee had a mandate. The mandate of the Debt Reduction Committee to offset debts owed.
To exercise duty of care to the agency, I hereby move a motion that we step down this agency for a later date for 2 reasons. One, non-legible document presentation and inadequate numbers of documents presented to this committee. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. There's a motion on the floor that we step down, but while stepping down, we need to give clear instruction as to what we expect from the next sitting. The letter from the Presidential Debt Recovery Committee giving you instruction to register a company on behalf of government and use personal names as shareholders. You bring that letter along with you so that we can comprehensively take a decision on that day. Secondly, you have told us that the name Nwachukwu Chidebere, you don't know him. When you come back, you need to bring the identity of what's it? Nwachukwu Chidebere. And all others who are shareholders of Embed Finance Company PLC. Maybe, and the shareholding. When you advertised, when they bought shares, and their holdings. And by this motion too, we are inviting Corporate Affairs Commission to appear along with Embed Thursday this week. Oh, the man said he's traveling. The man said he was going to Umrah. Okay, one of the directors of Corporate Affairs Commission should appear before us on Tuesday next week, along with the MD of Embed, along with the Director, Debt Recovery, whatever committee it is, along with the Minister of Finance, to appear before us on Tuesday and come and defend the reasons why individuals should bear the brunt or should lead us into debt. We are talking about 4 trillion. You want to raise 4 trillion and in your individual capacity rather than in the Embed name or government name. You have to appear before us on Tuesday, 12 o'clock. Thank you.
Similarly, the National Sugar Development Council stepped down its presentation due to inadequate documentation. The committee directed the affected agencies and other MDAs to complete their submissions and reappear before the panel within 1 week for proper legislative review.
From National Sugar Development Council, and with me are my colleagues, Madam Edire, Ajia Fatih Bobo, and Alhaji Jazuli Mohammed.
The committee. So we'll give you another date. We don't want to waste our time. We'll give you another date, which is Tuesday next week, by God's grace, or Wednesday next week. Today's Wednesday. Wednesday next week, to appear before us, and you must have submitted those documents to us before, all right? And when you are coming to, all the sugar allotees or allocations you have made, you make it part of your documents, all right? I've not gone through your document, but I'm sure you know your sources of revenue, which is, so we need detail, okay? And the way, and you have expended them, you know, and how many of the sugar plantations you have developed. We want to know. The essence of that money is to develop sugar plantations, to make Nigeria self-sufficient, and to stop importing. So you need to give us, you know, some of these documents. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You may take your leave.
Budget depends session. Honorable members, as you are aware, this is a committee of sport development of the 10th Assembly. We have 3 agencies under our purview: the NIS, National Institute for Sports, the NFF, Nigerian Football Federation, and the NSC, National Sports Commission. The DG NIS is here presently with us. Like he introduced himself, is a former member of this honorable house, a former deputy governor of Edo State, a comrade, a sportsman, and philanthropist. He took over this agency 6 months ago, and is one agency that actually is not performing the way it's supposed to perform before he became the DG of the place. But within just 6 months, he could be able to transform the institute to where it is today. Then, whatever we are going to do with NIS, we have to travel far to Lagos. He now makes sure we have an office here in Abuja. Not only office in Abuja, we also have zonal offices across the federation, which I believe is going to capture that in speech. We are not going to waste too much time on this because members have so many engagement today. Therefore, we'll go straight to the point. Last year, the 2025 budgets, the NIS was here to defend a budget that is not up to 3 billion in capital, not up to 1 billion in recurrent. Because of the issues we have with our budgets nationally, this year, the same thing, the budget office sent us a budget capital of NIS of 2.5 billion and also a capital budget of 637 million naira, which is nothing to write home about considering the current transformation that is taking place in NIS. Therefore, we sat with the agency, with the DG, and with the committee. We initiated an idea of how we'll make sure this 2026 budget is going to be different for them. We have a proposal of 47 billion for their transformation, and also 12.1 billion for their capital, for their recurrence. The 47 is for the capital of this 2026, which is not yet to be approved. Is pending on the deliberation of the committee and the House at the end of the day. That's what we are hoping, and that's what we are going to work with the appropriation committee and the House at large to make sure that NIS has gotten this so that the transformation will continue. Therefore, I will deploy to the DG to highlight the 2025, what he made on ground, the challenges, and why did he think that there is need for us to hijack this budget from 2.5 billion to 47 billion. for the agency. Therefore, DG, please, you have 5 minutes.
And I'm here to announce to this honorable house that there was no release for the institute, with the exception of 30% only for few of the constituency projects, not even all. So all the projects of the NIS was not funded. The overhead was not released. So for 2025 was a zero performance for National Institute for Sport.
Thank you for this opportunity also to speak on 2026 budget. We have a proposal of personnel cost of 1,598,765,286 naira 22 kobo. While we have an overhead proposal of 12,114 million as overhead. No, I'm just giving a summary. The summary page.
A page after the cover page.
No, before that one. Then capital, our proposed capital is 38,730 million. And we are also requesting for service-wide boats intervention fund of 8.5 billion, making a total of 60,942,765,286 naira 22 kobo. Mr. Chairman and distinguished colleagues, you will recall that NIS was established 1974. And since 1974, it has the mandate of establishing its offices across the 36 states now and Abuja, as at that time 19 states. And they are supposed to have a zonal office. And all these structures were supposed to be established before now. Distinguished honorable members, you'll be shocked that after 52 years, it took the grace of God. Only last year, we were able to move a step further to have 6 geopolitical zones now to house NIS. And this effort is because of our collective and individual effort. I must thank the chairman of the committee and honorable members. All of you have been very active in terms of contribution, in terms of ideas, and we are all sportsmen and women, and hence our zeal to make sport work. And your encouragement has actually helped for us to have a revolution in NIS now. And the revolution came when I was appointed by the president. And I was given a mandate to go and turn NIS around and make it a global institute of excellence. And what we did was I came, there was no plan. 52 years after NIS was established, there was no plan. But there is an act establishing them. We have Decree 31 that established it, and an act of the National Assembly of 2004 establishing this institute. Now, what we did was to have a think tank to look at what are the issues of NIS. And one of the major problems beyond infrastructural decay was there was no manpower to even run the service. It was like a company that is undergoing bankruptcy. That was the institute we met. But I've been asked to go and transform it and bring it back to life. And frankly speaking, these prayers section we're always doing for competitions is as a result of NIS not functioning. Because NIS responsibility is the engine room. They are bestowed with the responsibility of training manpower for the sport ecosystem and also the Athlete Development Center. And I had an encounter with Manuel Ocala when he told me a story of how
they were camped in NIS facility in Lagos. That used to be Super Eagles camp. If you are representing Nigeria, you must pass through that structure. But today, it's an eyesore. I had that committee, we had a plan. We designed a plan within 6 weeks of my assumption in office. And we had this plan 2025 to 2030, a 10 years working plan. And this plan is just to fulfill the mandate of the institute, taking it back to zonal and also taking it back to state. But what we've done is we want to hurry slowly because of sparsity of funds. We decided to start with the zonal offices. As we speak, Mr. Chairman, distinguished honorable members, we have established Kaduna as the zonal office for Northwest, Yola, Adama as the zonal office for Northeast, Plateau as the zonal office for North Central, Enugu as the zonal headquarters of NIS Southeast, Edo State as zonal office of NIS South-South, and Abeokuta as the zonal office of NIS in Southwest. As I speak to you, Chairman, all these offices are with collaboration with the state government of those particular states. And I can inform the House that I've had robust relationship and cooperation, and I have the facilities already for the takeoff of the seized geopolitical zone. And our target in line with this plan is when we succeed by the grace of God, in 2028, second quarter of 2028, we'll start the process of now taking the institute to state. And why? The state will now be responsible for the 3-month zonal courses of NIS. There's a pandemic as far as coaching is concerned in Nigeria now, and there's a shortfall of over 2.3 million coaches in this country because all the game masters of primary schools, secondary schools are supposed to be certificated. They are not coaches, and they call themselves game master, and that is not the standard practice. So for us to be able to mob them out, we need to take the institute to the grassroots. Hence, we have started with the zonal offices. But for us to succeed in what we have started, we need a budget that is reflective of what we want to do. We cannot have a zonal office in 6 geopolitical zones that will house all the states, and we'll be having a revenue, a budget that cannot even handle Athlete Development Center in Abuja. So we are here to plead with the House that for us to achieve not fasting and praying for Super Eagles or any of our tournament, for us to win, we need to develop our athletes. And these facilities are very solid. With little funding, I have a very economic budget, not ambitious, but budget that deals directly with what we want to resolve and solve. It's not bogus. For us to be able to achieve this, for us to be able to achieve our raw talent in Nigeria, to now participate in international engagement, NIS has to function. For us not to have only our children from abroad representing our country, NIS has to function. Lack of NIS functioning has led to our children born abroad are now those that are representing our country. Why? Because the facility is there for our children born abroad to use, and we are now relying on them to come and represent our country. Whereas, once upon a time, the Okalas that I'm talking about, the Okochas, we are a product of our league. We are a product of this place. Choma Ajinwa was a product here, was a police officer. Now, for us to get this thing done, we need to train coaches, which we already have the gap, and NIS responsibility. I would also like to know that the Athlete Development Center was opened in 2007 by President Olusegun Obasanjo, and it was modeled after Australian Sport Institute. After the opening, that facility was abandoned. It took the grace of God and the cooperation of the House for me to be able to re-establish that Athlete Development Center. Today, if you have a visit to that place, the place is functioning. We did the first training program in October, December, and we're able to graduate 249 young coaches from the Athlete Development Center after 18 years. We did all this not with proper funding. I would say with almost not with government funding. We have to start sourcing personal funds to be able to make this thing work. I think for government to function properly, personal funds should not be allowed to be the only thing to make government work function. We are partnering with private sector. We want private sector to come and drive it. But for private sector to come and drive our sport, government responsibility first should be upgrade of our infrastructure. What I've just brought here is not total upgrade, but we want to deal with the issue of NIS and the reform step by step so that we do not inundate us with bogus budget. And that is why we brought a very small budget of 47 billion for capital and
budgets. You can be able to do more in NIS, especially in terms of revenue generation, because in future we want to see NIS become self-reliant. Honorable members, like I said, the proposal before us here is a total of 60 billion budget proposal from NIS before the committee. And the NIS depended the budget. The reason why they want the committee to approve this funding to them. I want to ask honorable members, those in sport, that this proposal should be granted. Should say aye. Aye. Any against? Aye. Only one, so the aye service. DG, the committee accepted your proposal. The committee will sit down again to look at it thoroughly, to cross-check the figures and the importance of missions. Then, from there, we'll work with the House Committee on Appropriation and the leadership under the watch of Mr. Speaker. By special grace of God, we'll try our best to make sure that this is achievable in 2026, so that the transformation of NIS will be actualized.
And that's where we wrap up this edition of Nass Unplugged. I'm Ada Oka. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.
Here's what the 10th Senate was up to in February 2026. One major development was the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. After extensive debate, the Senate approved amendments addressing key issues such as electronic transmission of election results, electoral timelines, and stronger penalties for electoral offenses, and improvements to the Federal Medical Centers framework. Lawmakers also presented petitions from citizens, which were referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions for investigation. Much of the Senate's work also continued at the committee level. Several committees engaged ministries, departments, and agencies in budget defense sessions as part of the review of the 2026 national budget, examining spending plans and ensuring accountability. Overall, February's legislative work focused on electoral reforms ahead of the 2027 elections, oversight of government spending, and new proposals aimed at strengthening key public institutions. This is your Senate at work.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to FCT in Focus, your window to the vibrant heartbeat of Nigeria's capital. We dive deep into the core of the FCT, exploring how key policies and decisions shape lives across the city. From exclusive insights into the FCT administration to voices from the streets, we bring you stories that matter. Catch FCT in Focus every Saturday and Sunday at noon. Tune in for the latest stories directly from the nation's hearts.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on ADBN TV for business information, latest happening, business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on ADBN TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world's unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
In a world of overwhelming voices, where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
In a world constantly in flux, news moves fast, stories collide, opinions swirl. Who helps you make sense of it all?
It's me, ADBN, of course. Every week, I take you beyond the headlines, cutting through the maze, asking the tough questions, and spotlighting the stories shaping our world.
From politics to culture, business to global affairs, community pulse to everything that defines human existence, News Eddies brings you the currents that matter. Stay informed, stay ahead.
Join me, ADBN, for News Eddies, 9 p.m. every Sunday on ADBN TV.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrasts. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
–
Good afternoon and welcome to Niger Delta Today. It's your midday platform for thoughtful conversations on the political, environmental and socio-economic realities shaping the Niger Delta region. My name is Xavier Robert. Across the region, one conversation that refuses to fade away is the future of Ogoniland, a place whose name has become synonymous with the global struggle for environmental justice. Nearly 3 decades after oil production was halted there, discussions about a possible resumption are gathering momentum again. But as that conversation unfolds, civil society groups and community advocates are raising new conditions. They say before any oil company drills again in Ogoni soil, certain historical, environmental and justice questions must first be answered and addressed. Today we take a closer look at what those conditions mean, what they say about the future of oil exploration in the Niger Delta, and whether genuine reconciliation between the state, oil companies and host communities is truly within reach. Myself and Jennifer Pius on this one. Jenny, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon and happy new week.
Yes, how have you been? You had a terrific weekend?
Yeah, well, we spent half of it here, the rest.
That is the job.
Yeah, that's how it happens. But there's something interesting, and I think I should let you do this one. Well, we just celebrated International Women's Day.
Absolutely.
I was waiting for you to still tell me that.
Well, happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. So you can take the next one.
You guys have all the weeks, all the years. I don't know how many. I think I lost count. How many days you celebrate women?
We have,
but it's good. Well, on our story of interest today, we bring an issue shaping the cultural and intellectual future of the Niger Delta, which unfolded in Delta State. For the first time, Delta hosted a World Book Day Festival, an initiative aimed at reviving reading culture, strengthening libraries, and reconnecting young people with literature and creativity. The festival, organized by Lightway Media Books and Creative Society, was recently flagged off in Asaba and is designed to run as a year-long literary engagement program featuring competitions, workshops, book clubs, performance arts, and creative showcases. At the heart of the conversation is a concern many educators and authors share that reading culture in Nigeria is quietly fading, especially in schools and rural communities where libraries are disappearing and book clubs are becoming rare. Leading this initiative is acclaimed author and communications entrepreneur, founder of Lightway Media Books and Creative Society, whose best-selling novel Distortion has also been adopted by the Delta State Ministry of Education as a recommended literature text. Lady Ejiro Umokoro joins us now to talk about the vision behind the festival and why rebuilding the Niger Delta's and indeed Nigeria's reading culture may be more urgent than we realize. You're welcome on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I mean, this is a good conversation for us to have, and it is more timely because following several research that we conducted and realizing that the educational percentile across Delta State and indeed Nigeria was dropping from the 95th point to the 45th in some communities and even barely still in other communities, it became apparent that we need to close this gap. Social media is not a place where you read. Social media is a place where people have a cruise. You know, people bring opinions. So it's so opinion defined and opinion dominated. Reading, on the other hand, what it does for you is that reading takes you to a space where you begin to critically think. And that process of creative thinking, of how you read a text, a word, you visualize, you're able to see things within your own mind. The ability to deliberately cultivate that process. As intellectual rigor. And we would see intellectual rigor become apparent even in creative solutions that we derive things from and how we solve our problems in Nigeria. If you take a look at the civil service, one of the banes of the civil service is what we call illiteracy. So you are having a situation where there are literate people, but they are refusing to read. And how can you be a professional and you are not reading? How do you become